Hi guys, it's Adam and welcome to another video. So, last summer I did a load of courses, eBay related courses on a site called Skillshare, and now I've decided to migrate those courses over from that website to YouTube. So there's going to be loads of different beginner courses that are going to be coming over here for you guys to view on this YouTube channel. So with that being said, the next video you're going to see is obviously one of those courses. So yeah. Hope you enjoy. Hi guys and welcome to another class. So in today's class what I wanted to teach you is how to register a business in the UK. There's not much in the way of information out there on the internet in video form on this subject, so I really did want to get out this course. I have a lot of passion for helping people with this issue. Now obviously you can go onto a website, obviously the HMRC website, the gov.co.uk website, and register your business. It's not too much of an issue. However, what I've seen is not much content out there to actually walk people through it, and sometimes people just don't know where to go to actually do this, to actually overcome that hurdle and actually get your business set up. So what I'm going to teach you in this course is obviously just that, to get your business set up, to actually register, to go through the process of actually registering a business within the UK, and then obviously getting set up and knowing that you've done it right, basically. So with that being said, I'll leave this segment where it is and we will get on. And first off, I'm just going to go on the gov.co.uk website and we're just going to have a browse through a few of the help sheets before we actually get on and look at the registration process. Right then, hi guys. So as you can see, I'm on the gov.uk or gov.co.uk self-employment help page of the website. So basically you can see here we've got introductory guides. This website is brilliant. The only thing is, what I would say is I would like a little bit more information in certain aspects, a little bit more advanced areas I would like a little bit more information of. However, the basic stuff, they cover it really, really well. So what we've got here, as I say, we've got introductory guides, we've got how to register, we've got tax and national insurance, we've got self-assessment. Now we will be registering today for self-assessment, and basically what that means is you yourself take it under your own kind of control of doing your tax return each year, and that is in itself being a business. It's basically you earn income at whatever you're doing, and then you declare the income yourself rather than being employed by someone else who may employ an accountant within their business to sort all the tax information out for you. So as well as obviously having a business and having something that cements you in a particular niche or a particular field, essentially setting up a business is just declaring your own income for yourself opposed to someone else doing it for you if you were employed. So we will look at self-assessment, but first I wanted to quickly look at some of these introductory guides. So we're just going to click on a few of these. I'm not going to go through all of them, but please do come to this website. Please do, obviously, while we're going through this course, or maybe after the course, go through and have a look at a few of these yourself, because you want to familiarise yourself with sort of, setting up a business, being self-employed in general, because setting up the business, registering, what we're going to be talking about today, is just one part of being a business owner. Obviously you'll need to, there's many different things you'll need to look into when you're self-employed. You need to know the laws around being self-employed, and this website can really help you do it. So we're just going to have a quick look through this. So if you start working for yourself, you're classed as a sole trader, and that's what we'll be registering as today, a sole trader. Now you can register as a partnership. I know maybe some of you might be thinking, well, what if I've got a wife, or what if I've got a business partner that I want to set up as? You can set up as a partnership. I will teach you the basic way of going about that in this course. However, this course is going to be primarily looking at how to register as a sole trader. The good thing, however, is there will be some overlap with the actual registration process. So be it setting up as a partnership or a sole trader, there is going to be a bit of overlap there in what information you have to provide. And I will actually say now, it is incredibly simple. It's not as hard as you think. However, so many people don't set up a business because they don't know how to do it, they don't know how to physically register, or they're a bit nervous, they don't know, they think that there's going to be loads of different complex information required, and it's just not the case really. So anyway, we'll just quickly read through this. This means you're self-employed even if you haven't told HMRC yet. So HMRC, if you don't know, is Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, also referred to as the tax man. But yeah, so if you start working for yourself, you're classed as a sole trader. So if you're doing something to gain income for yourself, obviously in your own time, and you're making profit on that, then you're obviously going to be self-employed, and you need to let HMRC know. I believe it's within the first 3 months of trading. Now you might be thinking, well, I've not set up, I don't have a business yet. However, I plan to have a business within the next month, within the next few days maybe. Don't worry, because obviously you can still register, sort of predetermining that, if you like. So you register, you input the date of when you expect to be starting to trade, or basically maybe even just today's date, and just say you're going to be trading from today or from that date slightly in the future. So don't worry about that if you haven't actually set up yet. You can set up now, you can register now, but just put a date like today, or just a date that's slightly in the future. But anyway, so running a business, you're probably self-employed if you run your business yourself and take responsibility for, can't even speak, and take responsibility for its success or failure, have several customers at a time, can decide how, where, or when to do your work, and so on and so on and so on. So if you're watching this video, I take it that you will know that you want to register a business, that you are self-employed. So I'm not going to read too much into that. Obviously, you're selling goods and services and things like that. If you're selling a good or service, then you're going to be self-employed. You'll need to register for self-assessment if any of the following apply. You earned more than 1,000 from self-employment between the 6th of April 2017 and the 5th of April 2018, which was the last tax year. So basically, when you come to do your tax return after you have registered, you will obviously need to do your tax return for the previous tax year, and you will need to keep records for that previous tax year. You will need to file that by October the 31st or January the 31st of the following year, if you depending on if you're doing a paper return or if you are doing a online return. I choose to do an online return because it's just easier for me. However, as I say, if you're doing a paper return, you have a shorter deadline, being the 31st of October. So for example, if you made a fair amount of profit last year, between those dates, April the 6th, 2017, 5th of April, 2018, then you're going to have to do your tax return as I do, right? I'm going to do my tax return in the next few months. You will then need to do it before those dates, depending on whether you're a paper or an online return. You'll need to prove you're self-employed, for example, to claim tax-free childcare. Now, that doesn't apply to me, but it might apply to you. And then all this other sort of stuff down here. Other ways to work for yourself: become a partner in a business partnership. We will just go onto this very quickly. So basically, here is setting up a partnership. So set up a business partnership. In a partnership, you and your partner, or partners, I believe it's you can have up to 20 partners within a partnership business. Just a little bit of sort of general knowledge there. It's either 20 or 22. Personally share responsibility for your business. Any business losses you make, so any losses in the business, you're personally responsible, whether it's a partnership or a sole trader. Bills for things you buy for your business, like stock or equipment. Partners share the business's profits. That's obviously something quite easy to understand there. And each partner pays tax on their share. So here we go, register with HMRC. You can register using this button down here. It will take you through a similar process that we're going to go through. There might be some discrepancies, as I mentioned, but it's going to be similar. So what I wanted to do is just go back again. We'll just go back out of the partnership and we'll go back to the guides again. So obviously what we can do is click here, set up as a sole trader. So how to register. you'll need to set up a sole trader. I'm not going to read that again because we've literally just read that. Now, what you'll need, this is key actually. So, your responsibilities, you'll need to keep records of your business's sales and expenses. How you go about that is up to you. Obviously, there's various different methods of accounting. For me personally, just so you know, just to give you a little bit of context, I actually do an Excel profit and loss spreadsheet, and also I have a black book that I hand record expenses in as well, just as a kind of a backup. I also get all my, I basically, if you don't know my business, obviously you might not know because this isn't directly a course that I would normally teach. I am actually an eBay reseller, so I get all of my expenses, all of my sales information off my PayPal monthly summary report. So all of the information I need is nicely and neatly tucked away in PayPal all ready for me. However, even postage and stuff like that, because I buy my postage online, but I do keep a backup in this book. So that's just a way of going around your expenses. Obviously, if you're an online business, it's a lot easier because you can depend on things like PayPal or eBay. They all have records for you. But obviously, as I say, that's why I have a black book, just so I don't have to 100% depend on them. But yeah, just make sure you're keeping a record of your expenses and your sales. As I say, you can do that in many different ways. It's always good to speak to an accountant as well. You need to send a self-assessment tax return every year, like I was just talking about. Again, tax returns are something that get people a bit scared. They don't know how to go about them. It's not as hard as you think. Trust me, I am not an incredibly professional person. I'm not anyone who's really good at maths or anything like that, but just keep basic records throughout the year, then go ahead and do your tax return, and you should be able to fill it out no trouble. Obviously putting things in there like your expenses and your sales and stuff like that. There isn't actually too much to it if you have a simple business. So if you have a business that is, for example, if you're a window cleaner, or if you're just a business like, even like myself, just selling on eBay, if you're a simple small business, then there's not too much to the tax return. You just have to fill in, the sales, the expenses, things like that, and a few other bits and bobs, and you're well on your way to completing it, really. It's when you've got more strings to your bow in your business, so maybe you've got investments in property or stocks, then you're going to have to put them in there as, capital allowances and stuff like that. So, and you might have bought some large equipment in your business, and then you obviously have to put them in there as capital allowances and things like that. So yeah, definitely. I don't know whether I just said for property then. I don't know whether I said capital allowance. I actually meant capital gain. So if you got like stocks or something and you end up selling a stock, then you obviously, when I say stocks, I mean stocks and shares, by the way. I don't mean stock as in business stock. But basically, you might end up selling a share or a stock, and you end up, needing to put that into your tax return as a capital gain, or, as income or anything like that. So, depending on what it is you've actually sold or what's happened with that purchase or that sale. But yeah, so you'll need to kind of put that in there, and that's all extra income. But as I say, if you've only got a small business, it shouldn't be too much hassle for you. Anyway, so I think that's about it. I mean, what I will do is just quickly go back. We'll just have a quick look at, here we go. So write a business plan. Now, I didn't have a business plan when I set up. I don't think many people who have a small business in terms of an online business, or I'd say a small business like a window cleaner or something like that, they're not, maybe a landscape gardener or plumber or something like that. They're not going to generally have you don't need a big, massive business plan. Your business plan is inside your brain. I knew my business plan was to sell on eBay, and it was to sell antiques on eBay. So I didn't have a business plan. Now you can download a free business plan template, and if you would like to, I'm not saying don't do a business plan. If you would like to do that, then that's up to you. If you want a more structured plan that will make you feel, more secure in what you're doing, and it'll make you get to, grow your business, help grow your business, help move you along, then certainly you can download a free business template. And again, it's all on this website. gov.uk or gov.uk. I thought it was gov.co.uk, but it's actually got gov.uk. So you can just search anything. There's so much on this website. It's not just self-employment. It's all sort of things to do with loads of different things, disabled, driving, transport, education, loads of different things. So I would definitely advise you to come to this, check out those help sheets for self-employment. It's very, very easy. Just type in gov.co, no, don't even type in that, just type in setting up a business in the UK, and gov.uk will be one of the top results anyway, and you can find these help sheets. Anyway, I'll leave it there for this first segment. Now what we're going to do is actually get on with the actual process of registering with HMRC. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to take you through the entire process, but I am going to compensate for that by giving you a little bit more information of what you need to do in the time I can't actually go through part of the process with you. The reason I can't go through all of the process is because I would need to actually register myself in order to take you through the last part of the process, and I can't do that because obviously I've already registered as a business. I don't want to register another account with a government gateway, and I don't want to register another business. So, but I can take you through a good portion of the way, and I will be doing that, so you will definitely get some good information from the next segment. So I will see you then. Hi guys, so welcome to the next segment, and obviously in this segment we are going to actually register as a business with HMRC. So as you can see here, I have literally typed that in Google, register as a business with HMRC, or register as business. I should have put A in there, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, as you can see, there's loads of different options. I've actually just clicked on a few of these options because I wasn't sure which option was the correct one, but it is actually this fifth one down here, HMRC, register for HMRC taxes. So obviously, depending on when you're watching this course, it might have moved around in the search a little bit, but it is this one here, and it's https online.hmrc.gov.uk. So that one there, if it'll load, there we go. Right, so basically this is like the registration process now. So this is the thing that you want to get right. You want to make sure that you're doing it in the best way. So register for HMRC taxes. This service allows you to register a business with HMRC for the following taxes: self-assessment, corporation tax, payee for employers, and VAT. Do not use this service if you're already registered for tax. If you currently file your returns on paper but now want to file them online, follow the link for sign up for online services. Do not use this service if you're not a business. To continue and for more information on the types of business that can use this service, click next button below. Indication required. It indicates, I don't even need to read that bit. Anyway, so please select an option below to tell HMRC what you want to do next. Then click the next button. So what we're going to do is, I want to tell HMRC that I'm a business and need to register for a new tax, or tell HMRC that the company is now active. So what we want to do is we want that top one. Obviously you want HMRC to know that you are a business. You want them to know that obviously you want to set up as a business as such, and then obviously declare your income. So I'm going to select that one there and just click next. So then obviously I'm just going to quickly read through this. The following types of business can use this service to register with HMRC for the taxes shown: self-assessment, which is the one we're doing, and payee. Self-assessment, sole traders, so we are going to be setting up as a sole trader, and obviously setting up for self-assessment for basically to do our tax returns ourselves, or obviously we can employ an accountant to do them for us, but I just do mine myself. And then corporation tax and pay, and then VAT. Obviously, if you get over a certain threshold of sales in a certain year, you need to, in the period of a year, you need to register for VAT. So that's just a little bit of an information page there. Obviously, have a quick read through it. Then we've got another sort of information page here. The following types of business can't use this service to register with HMRC: limited liability partnerships, trusts, clubs and societies for corporation tax, government departments, and NHS trusts. So you've got to be careful. If you're any one of those things, then you're going to have to find a different way to register. However, if you're just, a business like I am, like selling on eBay, or you're, an online business, or you're any sort of maybe handyman or something like that, small time business, then you'll be fine to register in this way. For self-assessment, you also cannot use this service to register if you're in receipt of unemployability supplement. HMRC has already given you a unique tax reference, which I already have one, so hence why I can't go through the complete process with you. Follow the link Becoming Self-Employed to notify HMRC. You aren't the nominated partner, but you are joining a self-employed business partnership. And then for paying VAT, which I'm not going to read, because obviously we just want the self-assessment. We want to make sure that we're doing this right for registering for self-assessment only. So just going to click next now. So to continue with registration, you must have a government gateway account. If you do not have a government gateway account, one will be created for you as part of the registration process. You can't register two different businesses for the same business tax with HMRC using a single government gateway account. For example, to register two businesses for VAT, you must have a separate government gateway account for each business. You can use this service if you are a company that has been dormant and wants to tell HMRC that you're now within the charge of corporation tax. It doesn't look too much. It doesn't look too much information there that's really relevant. However, I do want to point out this. You will have only 90 days to complete the registration from the date you start to fill it in. The information you enter will be saved automatically as you move through the pages. Now, I actually have a government gateway account, so I'm not going to be creating a new account. So what I want to do in the next section is just sort of tell you, when I registered a few years ago, it should be the same process. So when I registered a few years ago, what I went through, the pages that I went through, that you guys are going to encounter. I would love nothing more than to take you through the pages, obviously myself, but I can't do that. So I apologise that I can't do that within this course. However, in the next segment, I'm going to best tell you what I went through, and obviously what you need to be doing when those pages greet you in the next stage of the process. And then I'm going to actually come back onto the process once you have got through that stage of the process that I can't share with you, and then I'll talk to you a little bit at the end about the actual government gateway account and looking at the sort of how you can fill out the tax return and stuff like that. I'm not going to go through the tax return itself, but I'm actually going to go through where you need to be in the account to actually fill out the tax return and that sort of stuff, and maybe even a little bit of it. I might give you a little bit of information about how you can pay HMRC once you have done the tax return and your tax has been calculated. Anyway, I'll leave it there for this segment. I hope you will join me in the next. So guys, if you register a new account with Government Gateway, you will get a user ID. Now, obviously that user ID is used to log you on to your Government Gateway account, and this is kind of the front end of the login page. Obviously just after the login page, you will be confronted with this page. Now, I'm not sure whether when you register, you will be greeted with this page straight away, because there might be, there is actually more information that you need to fill in on the process. So basically what I mean by that is, when you have registered with a Government Gateway account, you may be asked for more information. Now, some of the information and some of the pages that I was taken through when I first registered was things like, when was the business set up? Obviously things like, what is the business's address? Now, when you're confronted with a question, or if you're confronted with a question like, what is the business's address, that can be the same as a residential address. However, obviously the business will have to be operating there, and if you are operating from a residential address, there are things you need to consider. Obviously, in certain circumstances, if you're having work done to your house in a big way to actually transform your house for your business specifically, you will have to get, or you may have to get council permission and things like that. You need obviously, in some circumstances, you need the mortgage provider's permission to actually run a business from home, and of course if you are renting a house you'll need the landlord's permission to do any sort of business activity. So if you are confronted with a question like that and you are running your business from home and everything's cool and you've checked into that you're okay to do that, then obviously go ahead and enter your business address, which is the same as your personal address. Now I would kind of suggest that you do run your business away from home, just as someone that has actually gone down the route of running their business from home. I think it's better to have it separate from your home life. However, that's another situation entirely. It's another kind of ramble entirely, really. So I won't go into too much of that. However, if you're confronted with a question like that, obviously input the correct information. You might get asked, or you probably will get asked some point in the process, when your business started. As I mentioned in one of the previous segments, obviously input the date that you started trading. If you haven't started trading yet, then input today's date, or if you can, if it will allow you, input the date in the future that you believe you will start trading. So obviously in terms of if you have already started, maybe you started 2 weeks ago, then input the date 2 weeks ago. You may be confronted with a few other pages just before it wraps you up and sends you to this login page. If it doesn't send you to this login page, I will quickly explain how you can get to this login page and actually log into your newly formed Government Gateway account. But obviously the process for registering isn't as hard as you think. Hopefully that will have helped there. There won't be much else to it. I can't remember myself how many more sort of pages there were to go through. However, it wasn't actually that many. HMRC are only wanting to collect certain information from you about, when the business started. That's the other thing actually as well. You will be asked about the nature of your business. So there will be a screen that says what is your business, basically. So you only have to put a very brief explanation. My business is I'm an online seller on eBay and Amazon. Whether you might even put full-time in there, or you might put part-time or whatever. Just a very little brief description. You could maybe put I resell things on eBay and Amazon for a profit or something like that. Or obviously if you're a plumber or a carpenter or whatever you are, you put that in there and you just do a brief description. But HMRC, as I say, they only really want to know what your business is, when it started, and then obviously when you come to do your tax return, they want to know the amount of profit you made, because they obviously want you to declare the amount of money that they're owed in tax, essentially. You declare your profit and then they can work out the tax based on that. So they don't really want to know so much information. They just want to know the basic bits and bobs. So hopefully that'll have helped. That little bit of chat there will have helped talk you through that remainder of the process. So what I'm going to talk about now is actually this page. So if you're not redirected to this page after you have completed the process, I think you should be redirected to this page or a similar page that logs you on. But basically, just type in sign in Government Gateway or sign in to Government Gateway, and then I think it's, which one is it now? Is it this one? I think it's this one here, yeah. So top result, HMR services, sign in or register. Obviously you'll have just registered, so you don't need to register. Click this sign in here, and then it'll take you to this page in a second. So it'll take you to this page here that obviously I've got up here. So it'll take you to the same page, but you will need to log in using your user ID that you have been given on the registration process, and I believe you are prompted to make a password as well. So obviously keep that information safe. I have it in a saved Word document to make sure that it is all safe, and I believe I do have a paper copy as well. So yeah, without further ado, this is the page that you're going to get shown. Now, as far as I'm aware, when I paid last year, you can actually pay via this page here. I believe it is actually this page that you actually pay your tax on. So once you've completed your self-assessment return, and I'm actually going to click into this now, you can see that your my returns here deadline details. 2017 to 2018 tax return is due by the 31st of January 2019. So as I mentioned in the first segment or the second segment, that basically the 31st of January the following year is the deadline for the previous tax year's information. So it gives you plenty of time to get your figures right, to make sure that you're actually doing your accounting and have got all that information there. So what you can do is, here we go, actually yeah, it's here. So your payments, there's a big button there that says make a self-assessment payment. I think it does come up in the top right hand corner up here. Unfortunately you won't be able to see this because it's got a little bit of my information up here, but in this top right hand corner I think it does actually come up when your tax has been calculated for that tax return. It does come up with the amount you owe, and you can make a payment. It's very, very simple. It's obviously just by debit card. You can just do a transfer very quickly. It's not hard to do. Everyone knows how to do a payment like that. So it is as simple as, you know, doing a tax payment is as simple as just making a payment down here, clicking this button, and there you go, it's done basically. But we're just going to click into this here. So complete your self-assessment tax return. So this is what I will have to do when I obviously want to go about doing my tax return. I generally do my tax return like sort of mid to end of the year, so I'm not last to do it by any means. I know there's a lot of people who end up doing it on the last day it's actually due. I would not do that, honestly. I would not. I know I have to stop myself from laughing because I know that quite a lot of people do actually do that, and it is quite funny for me to think, but obviously yeah, don't do that. So basically this is like saying about you cannot use this service if the tax year ending 5th of April 2018 you received multiple chargeable events, trust, settlement or estate income, and or you were a non-UK resident, a minister of religion, a Lloyd's underwriter. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be any one of those things, but maybe you are, I don't know. But yeah, so you can use this service if in the tax year ending 5th of April 2018 you received employment income, self-employed income, which is obviously us, and partnership income, UK property income. And you remember a minute ago in one of the segments I was saying basically that where the tax return can get a little bit harder is if you've got other investments going, you know, property, cryptocurrency, stocks and shares, things like that. Then it can start to get a bit complex. However, the more simple your business, the easier the tax return is to actually fill in. UK interest, dividends, etc. So again, talking about dividends, stocks and stuff like that, it's harder to fill in the tax return if you've got all that. Capital gains, foreign income, child benefit for earners over 50,000. So essentially, this is what you can do here. I think there's a button for, yeah, so press start to complete your online return. It is so simple. I literally just need to click start down here, and then I'll be confronted with the first page, and the tax return is split up into sections. So it's like section by section. It gives you all the information you need. Now, the one thing I will say is that there is quite a bit of jargon, and some things are a little bit hard to understand. However, if you go on to the gov.uk website, there is actually help sheets. So if you go onto that main gov.uk website, type in that search bar, self-assessment help sheets or self-assessment tax return help sheets, then you can get all the information up. It will actually go through the tax return with you and sort of dumb it down a little bit. I don't know whether that's quite politically correct, but it will dumb it down a little bit for you, and you'll be able to understand it a lot, because I'm quite an intelligent person. However, I couldn't understand some of the jargon in there. It wasn't helpful, so I used the help sheet, and it was so much better. It just helped me out so much. So obviously you press start, you go through section by section. If you had any income from an actual job, so if you're doing your business on the side of a job, you can put your employed income down there. It won't tax you double for the income, just so you know, but you can put it in there, and obviously that will let HMRC know that for the last tax year you had some employed income and self-employed income. So yeah, you can put that in there. Obviously your UK property investments and stuff like that. There's segments for them, and it sort of divides it up into segments, so it's not too much to take in. But I did just want to briefly touch on the tax return. I know that this isn't part of the registration process specifically, however, it's something I just wanted to touch on slightly. So we've got tax return options down here, so you can see here. To view a summary for another tax year, please select the year from the drop-down menu. If you have only just activated your self-assessment service, this is actually important, you will need to allow up to 72 hours before you can file a return for a previous tax year. You have 12 months from the 31st of January following the end of the tax year to submit an online amendment to a previously submitted return. You can read the rest of that for yourself. You can see here, issued on 6th of April, so at the end of April every year, depending on whether you've gone paperless or not, but if you've not gone paperless, you'll get a letter. If you've gone paperless, you'll get an email. Well, actually, if you're non-paperless, then you'll get a letter and an email. That basically is just telling you need to submit this year's return before the 31st of January on the following year. You know, that sort of tax year's return. So you can see here it says file on paper by 31st of October, file online by 31st of Jan 2019, and it says received on, and then it's obviously got not yet received because I've not done it yet. So you can see there it just says file return, and you can go through and file it. There's loads of different sort of help things here. So you've got FAQs, you've got ask a question, all that sort of stuff here. So you can, there's plenty of information about sort of doing the tax return on here, as well as on the gov.uk website. Just wanted to quickly go into how to pay as well. This will probably pop up a little help sheet. Yeah, it will do. So pay your self-assessment tax bill. I did just go through this. You just need to click the button. It's not too hard. Obviously, the deadlines for paying your tax bill are the same as the deadline for submitting it online. So that is the 31st of January for any tax you owe for the previous tax year, known as a balancing payment, and your first payment on account. 31st of July for your second payment on account. If you prefer to pay regularly throughout the year, you can use a budget payment plan. Ways to pay: same day or next day, online or telephone banking, chaps, by debit or corporate credit card online, at your bank or building society, 3 working days, backs, direct debit, by cheque, 5 working days, direct debit. So you can, there's plenty of ways to pay. You did used to be able to pay, I think, by post or at the post office, I think, or something to do with that. But I think, oh yeah, there it is there. You can no longer pay at the post office, so you can't do that. But most people are just going to do the online banking, to be honest. I think most people are going to online bank. And then maybe I've done a debit, was it a direct debit or was it just, I don't know. I think I just did it online banking, to be honest. But yeah, so it's really, really easy. You just click that button I showed you a minute ago, and then you're done. So what I'm going to do is just round off this segment, and I will be back just to give you just a little bit of a conclusion, really. Right, guys, so I thought I would just conclude by looking at the very, very briefly at this page here, which is the self-assessment forms and help sheets. So obviously you can see help sheets for all the extra sections, and these are the things that I was talking about, how the tax return is broken up into sections. You can actually get all the other sections here: self-employment, business partnerships, UK property income, capital gains, etc. You can click into each one of these here, and it will show you the section on the tax return, and it will also show you the help sheet alongside that. So how, the notes of actually going about how, what things mean and how to do things, and what numbers to enter in where on the tax return. So up here, the main tax return here, SA100, if you just click this download and fill in form SA100, which is just self-assessment, and you can see it takes us to this page here. Look right here in the document section, how to fill in your tax return 2018. You can just click on this. You can download it or you can view it online, and it will break down. I'm just going to actually click into it now for you because I may as well. I'm just going to click into this very quickly, and it'll actually break down, obviously here, all this information here is all the different bullet points of what you need to do. It goes through it. I know it looks quite overwhelming, but all you need to do is just read through it, briefly read through it, and it'll give you all the information you require. It really will. It's brilliant. You can see here, so starting your tax return on this sort of top right hand side here, box 1, your date of birth. Make sure you tell us your date of birth. If you don't, you may not get all the allowances you're entitled to. It breaks it down really, really nicely. You've got UK interest here, including box 1 or 2, any interest from banks or building societies, UK authorised unit trusts, open-ended investment companies, etc., etc., national savings, taxable income, etc., etc., etc. So it goes through really nicely. I know it looks quite, big and in your face, and there's a lot of information to digest, and I understand that. However, it really will do you a world of good to just read through bits and bobs of this. I'm not saying read through every bit of it, because not every bit of it will be applicable, but just sort of scan, read it, and go through it, because it'll give you so much of a better understanding of what boxes you need to fill in that tax return. So what I'm going to do, not that page, I didn't need that page. I'm going to go back now because I wanted to quickly, there we go. So you must send your tax return by the deadline or you'll get a penalty. So I wanted to finally end on penalties. So self-assessment tax return penalties. You'll get a penalty if you need to send a tax return and you miss the deadline for submitting it or paying your bill. So this is very important. Do please submit your tax return by paper by the 31st of October or online by the 31st of January. You'll get a penalty of £100 if your tax return is up to 3 months late. You'll have to pay more if it's later or if you pay your tax bill late. So you've got to make sure do that tax return online. That's the biggest thing I could possibly say to you. The biggest sort of moral is just get that tax return in on time, because you don't want a penalty. It's not only a penalty, but obviously somewhere, I honestly believe that somewhere it'll go on a record, and if you do it multiple times, it's not going to be good for you. So avoid that penalty at all costs. Get that tax return in on time. You have plenty of time to do it from obviously sort of the 6th of April on one year to the 31st of January on the other year. So you've got a lot of time to get your figures straight, your accounting done, all sorted, done and dusted, and get that tax return filled in. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for joining me on this course. If you did like it, then please do give it a positive review down below, and obviously check out the course description and course project for any more details relating to this course. I will leave it there, guys, and hopefully I will be doing another course very soon. So I'll see you very soon, guys.